Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel. Today it's all about my October favorites, some beauty. I'm actually including some fashion too because it is finally cooled down here in Texas. So I wanted to share some of my updated style picks because I did some shopping and so naturally I got new sweaters, basically jeans and sweaters. But let's go ahead and dive in. First, let's start with the makeup. The foundation I have been loving this month, and I mean, I don't think there's a day I haven't worn this, has been the Flower Beauty Light Illusion foundation. There's so many words on the front of this. It says luminous makeup, nude skin feel, all day wear, SPF 18, and then my shade for reference is warm beige L4. Have been absolutely loving this because, like all the words on the front suggest, it just gives you this very natural but still a good amount of coverage, but it just still looks like your skin. It just glosses over everything, gives you that lit from within look, but doesn't look or feel too heavy. And less is more with this guy. I had actually been using a lot more of it in previous months, and then I just finally started to lighten it up, in part because of the concealer I'm about to talk about, but had started lightening it up from, 1.5 to almost 2 pumps every time to 1 pump, and I start in the center of my face and work my way outward, and I just find that the coverage with this in conjunction with my concealer has been perfect and surprisingly not full, like it's no Estee Lauder double wear, but it's a pretty solid coverage and it stays put throughout the day despite the glowy feel, although I do set it with my Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder. But I have found that I've had to use less of this when I use less of the foundation, so go figure. Then for concealer, this one really surprised me because I think it's dethroned my holy grail. It's the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. I have finally gotten around to trying this guy, and I don't know what took me so long because, I mean, like I just said, it might be a new favorite. My shade, by the way, is light beige, but earlier in the month when Ulta had sent out one of their 99 20% off coupons, and I'm assuming they're trying to compete with Sephora's VIB sale, but one day they had that 20% off coupon in conjunction with a 5x points on Too Faced, so I figured if there was ever a time to try, it was now. And thank goodness I did, because it is the perfect in-between for me from the Tarte Shape Tape, which had been my go-to for maybe 2 years at this point, and the Estee Lauder Double Wear, which on me, it's very full coverage, but it can be a little bit drying if you used. It's super easy to go overboard with it, and so it can sink into your fine lines and make them look dry and crepey. So it's right in between those two for me, but it's way harder, I think, to overdo it on the coverage here. It's not quite as pigmented as either of those two, but it's far more layerable than both of them, so that if you want to get a little bit more coverage, you can do it with this and not have to worry about looking dry, crepey, cakey in your under eye area. And it's such a beautiful consistency and I love it. The only thing I'm not crazy about is the size of the packaging. Like, would you think this is a concealer? It's huge. I mean, by comparison, where is my Shape Tape? By comparison, here's the Shape Tape, and I thought the Shape Tape was huge. Like, this is just gargantuan. So I could have done without a lot of this packaging, especially since it looks like it's a thicker glass, and then it's just gone with the plastic anyway, but minor gripe for the quality of the product. For the eyes, I've kept it simple just because I've been traveling and I hadn't wanted to take powder eyeshadow, so I have been relying super heavily on eyeshadow pencils, specifically my nude sticks. I've talked at length about these, have a dedicated video about them, and have purchased a whole lot of them in the recent sales. I love the formula so much of both the eyes and the lips. But the one eyeshadow stick that has gone with me everywhere consistently is the shade Burtis, which is just this gorgeous, I mean, you can see it's like worn down after a lot of sharpening. It's just a classic metallic neutral shade that is so easy to swipe across the lid, blend in with your finger or a domed brush, and you are good to go for the rest of the day. And I've said this before, but I think it's worth saying again if you've never tried nude sticks, they don't crease. Like, I don't prime my eyes. This is the only eye product I've taken with me to travel, and I just apply this, I don't set it with powder, and I'm good to go throughout the day. So really like these and recommend you check out the brand in general. However, I am putting together a best of eyeshadow pencils video. I did one a couple years back, but I am working on another one. But I have been seriously held up because we're lacking in the affordable / drugstore category. I'm not kidding. Like, I think I have 3 options, whereas the rest are more higher end prestige. And not that I wouldn't, I mean, I've been talking up nude sticks like crazy, but I do like to have more of a spectrum for those who might be a little bit more budget conscious versus those who might want to splurge more. It is really, I don't know what happened to all of our drugstore options, guys. So let me know which of your favorites down in the comments below. But in the meantime, nude sticks are great, especially if you buy them in one of these tin things. They are way more economical than buying them solo, and you get almost the same amount of product. Like this is almost a full-size pencil, which normally costs like 24 bucks, but when you get 5 or 6 in a tin for 55, it's just like no contest. And before I move on from eyes, because it's probably pretty clear that I'm not wearing that nude stick on my eye today, I actually just got the Natasha Denona Gold palette in the mail, and it's pretty much all I had hoped it would be. Just this gorgeous palette of golds. I initially thought in looking at it online that it would be way too monochromatic, too many similar shades in here, and while that's kind of the case for like 3 of these neutral shades, the rest not at all the same. Very different tones, finishes, you name it. So I'm still working with it. Like it's only a few days old and I did get it in November, so it's really not being lumped into this October favorites, but worth mentioning since I just wanted to mention what was on my eyes. And then the lip I've been loving, super minimal, and I think I mentioned this in September's favorites too, but worth mentioning again because I love it for all the same reasons and then some in October. It's the Lanolips Lemonade Lip Treatment, and like I said before in that previous video, I think, just with the transition between summer and fall, that cooler, drier air comes and my lips inevitably flake and get chapped and they hurt. And so I tend to switch over to a more rich lip treatment, but I lost the second one of my Bite Beauty Agave lip masks. And so rather than buying something that apparently I can't keep track of, I thought I would try something a little bit more affordable. This Lanolips is 12 bucks, so I think about half the price of an agave lip mask, and I think it's every bit as good. And I really put it to the test lately because I've been doing a lot of lip swatches. In case you haven't seen it, I'd swatched all like 23, yes, shades of the Wet n Wild Satin Lipstick collection. I'll click the eye up here or I'll put it in the description box below, but you can go give that a watch. This is what I use to help my lips recover from all those swatches and wiping of the swatches away immediately after, and it's just worked wonders for my lips. Like the day after, my lips were in great shape, like ready and eager to wear lipstick again. It's just a really great lip treatment that doesn't cost a ton. And last in beauty are some fragrances. I talked about these in my Sephora VIB sale recommendations video. I discovered them in October and had fallen so much in love with them that had mentioned having these in my cart because if there's ever a time to pick up some Tom Ford fragrances, which is what they are, it's during a time when there's a sale because they are not cheap. The first one I really like is this Ombre Leather, which as you could guess from the name, does have a layer of leather to it, but it more like immediately it's more spicy. There's lots of musk in there. It's a unisex fragrance, so it kind of borders on smelling a little bit more masculine, but when I apply it and then let it kind of sit on my skin and mix with my natural skin chemistry, it develops into something quite a bit sweeter, which I really like, but it still maintains that deeper muskiness, which I love in any kind of fragrance I have. However, to sweeten it up just a little bit, I also really like this Lost Cherry, which I wear alone, but I also like layering the two as well. And this obviously has a lot of cherry in it. However, it has something else to kind of weight it down too, to keep it a little bit more earthier feeling. It's like cherry and almond and then something like not amber, but along those lines, so that it's not super sweet, because I'm not a fan of sweet fruity fragrances, and yet I smelled this one and just really fell in love. So if you too are someone who is like more of a deeper, muskier kind of fragrance person, don't totally discount this just because it says cherry. I mean, it is definitely cherry forward, but there's a lot more going on with it, especially once you apply it and really wear it around for the rest of the day. There's a lot more to it than you might think. Now let's hop into clothing. First I want to talk sweaters because it is finally sweater weather here in well, was sweater weather, and then today it decided to be 80, but you know, we're getting cooler overall. So the first, I have 2 sweaters I want to talk about. Both are from the brand BP from Nordstrom. I think it's exclusive to Nordstrom, I'm not sure, but that's where I bought mine. The first of which is this kind of thicker olive green sweater. It has these great bell sleeves here at the bottom and a nice wide neck, so you can either wear it wide and symmetrical or off the shoulder, either way, depending on what kind of mood you're feeling. And this one kind of surprised me because it's slightly cropped. It comes up good bit higher than I would tend to prefer to wear my sweaters, but there's something about the way this is cut and possibly the jeans that I wear them with that just makes it work. And mine is a medium for reference. It totally depends on the brand and the fit. I can be anywhere from a medium to a large, but I figured with a sweater, especially one with a large neck like this, I would size down just to make sure it would kind of stay in place where it's supposed to up top. Then the next sweater is a thinner material. It's this mock turtleneck, and it's in this gorgeous, I mean, obviously gorgeous kind of rustic fall pumpkin-y kind of shade. Less billowy sleeves. However, it has like that bat sleeve thing going on where it's just a little bit looser in the armpit area, which I don't know, it's just like wearing a blanket for some reason to me. So it's extra cozy. And this one comes a little bit lower than the one I just mentioned. So I like to tuck it into the tops of my jeans, which is a good time to segue into the kind of jeans I like. So I've recently gotten into pretty high-waisted jeans. Before, it was just kind of hard to find jeans that had the right amount of stretch and hug in the waistline, but didn't stretch out in the waistline and then just ultimately fall down like all my other jeans had. So I finally tried Good American. It's a brand that I've been interested in because it looks like they make jeans for my body, well, a wide range of body types and shapes and sizes, but mine specifically where I just have a more narrow waist and wider hips and bigger thighs. I'm a size 12 in Good American, but I can be anywhere from a 12 to a 14, again, just depending on the brand and the fit of the jeans. So I'm a size 12 in Good American, but I found this pair that I am just a little bit devastated about because I bought them on sale, only to find out that I think they were on sale because they're discontinuing them. So there might be good news though. So these are the Good American Good Legs in the style GL103T, which probably doesn't mean anything to anyone and probably shouldn't if they're going to be discontinued. But basically they are really high-rise denim with a nice structured waist. I have another pair from Good American that I like not quite as much because there's just a little bit less structure here in the waist. So they do stretch out a little bit. They do fall down, not quite as much as a lot of other jeans I have, but more so than this pair, certainly. So this fabric blend, I guess, has the perfect amount of stretch, but is still have enough cotton or whatever component of this fabric that keeps it in shape and in place to where it's not going to stretch out specifically in this waist area as you move and sit and slouch throughout the day. It's not going to stretch out, and then when you stand up, you have to hike your pants back up again. Like, these are just the perfect pair if that tends to be your issue with jeans. And although it looks like they're being discontinued, the first thing that I did when I found out they might be getting discontinued is email their customer service asking if there is a similar pair out there. So fingers crossed there is one, or maybe they're just like out or something and these aren't actually going away, but they're amazing. So I will keep you updated if you are also always on the hunt for a good pair of jeans that have the right amount of stretch without stretching out. But the good news, or what will hopefully be good news, is that the second after I found out these might be getting discontinued is I emailed their customer service to see if there was another comparable pair out there. So if you're interested like me in finding something similar to these, I will keep you posted on that. But yeah, I've really just been loving high-waisted jeans in general, so I have a few other pairs that I'll list in the comment section below, just in case these aren't ever coming back. But I like them specifically for fall because I tend to avoid chunky sweaters in fall, even though tis the season to wear them. But I avoid them because I have kind of a fuller behind. I like to keep things balanced by emphasizing my more narrow waist, and sweaters tend to hide that. So I like the high-waisted denim because I feel like I can wear a chunkier sweater on top, and I do one of those half front tucks to just make sure that I'm still keeping my shape in the waist area. And that's exactly what I do. I have to do it less with the olive green sweater that I mentioned earlier because it's naturally cropped up there, but I think the only reason I'm more comfortable wearing it that way is because my jeans come all the way up to where it's cropped. And likewise with the orange sweater, because it has a little bit more volume here in the side area where I would otherwise like to cinch in, I just tuck that puppy in the front of those jeans, and I just find it makes the silhouette so much more wearable for me. So those are my fall clothing favorites and my October beauty favorites. I'd love to hear what yours are down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys!